Hey everyone and welcome to the Learning Ladderblog. Today I thought I would talk about things that I've loved this year and things that I have not so much in terms of organisation, because I know as you're gearing up to get ready for the next school year and everything else, these are the sorts of things that you think about, and I know I do at least. What systems worked, what systems didn't, because then you can, over the summer or prep or before, as in some of you start a lot sooner than we do, start reorganizing. I thought that would be interesting and maybe helpful if you have tried some of the things I have this year, or if you haven't, to let other people know whether or not they worked for you too. So don't forget to let me know in the comments below if you've used any of these systems, you liked them, you didn't, because it might not just help me, it might help other people as well. So the first thing that I introduced this year is I'm not going to call them workbox system, because I don't technically think, maybe it is, I don't know, it's very lightly a workbox system, because I don't think I use it in the same way that it was intended, because you tailor things to suit you. I don't know, maybe I do. Let me know. Is this traditional workbox system? We'll see. Anyway, I bought these two shelves from IKEA. The top 10, which you can see in the video, are mine, and the bottom 10 are my daughter's, so that she can actually reach, because at the start of the year she would struggle to reach the top. I think probably now she could well and truly do so, but she's fine having the bottom 10 and I have the top 10. And I've loved this system. So every towards the end of the week, usually on a Thursday, because by the time Thursday's over, we finished all of our curriculum, and from Friday is just, bits of different things that I like to pull in. So I can take everything out that we've done for that week, file them, and then put in all the fresh stuff, and I love that. It has been fantastic in a similar way, but I used different drawers, and these hold a lot more, so I'm able to fit things in, like books and everything else as well, that go along with what we're doing that week. So I definitely love this, my version, or I don't know, the version of this workbox system. So that has been fantastic and something I will continue to use. The next thing that I love is our bookshelves over there. This is not something that I've changed this year. This has pretty much been from, we had these shelves before we even started school, but they were used for different things. But when, I think it was in kindergarten, no, it was pre-K4, I think it was, I brought them upstairs to use them specifically for homeschool, and it was the best thing I ever did. They're the Expedit, the old shelves from IKEA. I think they're called something else now, Kallax or something along those lines. IKEA always have very difficult names to pronounce, but I think it's something called Kallax. I'm not sure if they make this size anymore. I don't know if they do, but you do have to attach them to the wall, so that's something to think about, because I personally would not have them not attached to the wall. They're very heavy and very wobbly if they're not attached to the wall. It's definitely been something that I continually have loved using. I have the little labels, which I'm going to have to redo this year because they're pretty much falling apart, but we've had them from pre-K4, so it's like, I don't want to. I think I had to swap a couple of them last year, and I couldn't find the original freebie that I found, so I'll probably make my own this time though, because it's a lot easier when you need to replace them. So a couple of them weren't matching, but I don't really, I'm not really fussed about those types of things. But yes, I'm going to have to redo some of those labels. Well, actually, I'll just redo them all, because I'm going to have to change quite a few of them because they're all falling apart. But they've served us so well, so I just labelled each one with a subject. So we've got history and science and maths and everything else, and she can do that independently. She can go to the shelves, get whatever books she wants. She knows where to put them back, because obviously they've got a label on. And I store other things on there too. Looking at the top, I store other things on there too. If you live in a house with no storage, then you have to make use of every single space that you have. We have no built-in storage in this house. That's the one really bad thing about buying a new build house. I don't think they're all like that, but ours was. And at the time, first time buyer, you think, oh, it'll be fine. But when you move in and everything else, you think, I'm having to buy loads of furniture to have storage, which then takes your room up, because obviously you're filling it with furniture. So that's definitely something that I will be very, very cautious of, and make sure I don't make that mistake again when we're choosing a new property. Need built-in storage. Anyway, I digress. But yes, we have loved that. The other two things I'm going to show you, I'm going to flip you around because it's easier to show you that way. But talking about things that haven't worked, Now, I bought my binding machine this year and I absolutely love my binding machine, and I went crazy with it, binding everything, and I don't regret doing that because it was good to experiment with. Now, I would and I will continue to bind my resources, so my teacher guide and everything else, but I will not bind my students' stuff anymore. And the reason, this was the first time we've ever done that. We used to use the trusty binder, everything in the binder, and then I would just pull out the pages. But I got really fed up with doing that because every Thursday I was like having all these different bits of paper everywhere, and I didn't like that. So I thought, well, if I bind it all together, that's going to be much more efficient. I'll do that once at the start of the year, then every week I'm not having to, you know, faff around with all these different bits of paper. But I don't like that, and it doesn't fit in the drawer properly, and as it's turned out, the original system worked way better. But the reason it works better now than it did before was because I have actual plastic folders what I put the things in. So each plastic folder has a day, so Monday through Friday, and then I actually take the sheets and put them into the plastic folder. So then it doesn't feel like there's papers everywhere because they are nicely packed into the folder, and when I'm changing them out and putting fresh in, it's a lot easier. I think before, when I was using the binder system originally, you know, just a regular A4 binder, I didn't have those plastic folders, and that's why it felt like there was all the paper everywhere. But introducing the plastic folders, and that was another thing that I've really liked. I'll just show you actually. So this is what I'm talking about. So every day, this is Monday, for not for every subject, but for reading, language arts and maths, she's had these for the individual papers, and I much prefer it to this. Also, I think as well, when you want to add things to the folder that aren't the same size, because obviously she does crafts with history and we keep them, so I have to put them in, and they're not all the same size paper and everything else. It looks much better to keep this and then stick them into a binder at the end. So I definitely won't be doing that. So that's something, a fail, I guess, because it was a good experiment, but it's just not something that I want to do again. And teacher's guides, everything else, definitely bind them. Much prefer the plastic folder and the binder. So the master copies, I guess, go into the binder, and then each week I pull out the sheets to go into the folder, which then goes into her tray, which fits much better than these chunky things which stick out everywhere. So yes, that's something that was a miss this year. I love is this organizer. I got this in kindergarten, I think, and it served us so well. I put all our manipulatives in there, our maths and language arts stuff, and she can go in there for playtime. She can go in there for I can store our manipulatives in there. For example, I have the bowls ready for maths, and I can get them ready, you know, that week, the Thursday of the week before, so that I can just, on the maths lesson, I can just grab the manipulative that I need, and away we go. I definitely love this. I really enjoyed this little bookshelf. It's only small, but it's nice to just have a few select books on display, I guess you could say. It does draw their attention to it, and it's nice to look at when you come into the room and everything, and it's been something I've really enjoyed. This wardrobe I actually repurposed. Was it kindergarten or first grade? It used to be a wardrobe, but we outgrew it, so I converted it into a little storage cupboard. So I just purchased shelves from the DIY store, had them cut to size, and then instead of it being a wardrobe, it became a storage cupboard. And this has been something that I've absolutely loved. We continue to do so. Each shelf has a different subject. So at the top two are maths and some science, and then we've got language arts, some geography further down, and then at the bottom, puzzles and musical instruments. And I just love this. It's so easy to every week just pull out what games you want from here, and away we go. Another thing I really like are these little cardboard folders. This one's just got all different types of paper in, this one's got resources in, and they're so handy to just store guides, teacher guides, so they're close at hand for when you need them. I still have my trusty pocket chart, which we've had from the beginning, and every season we just put different words out, just for fun, and I use it for other things as well. I just have it attached with hooks. And then I also used to hang this on the wall with drawing pins, and something else I hated because it would always fall off. So if it's thick, maybe don't do that because you end up with loads of holes in your wall, and it also rips the poster. So my idea worked much better than what I was doing originally. I basically just hole punched the top and then hung them on hooks, and it has not fallen down once this year. So yay, and I do not have any more holes in my walls. So that's another thing I didn't like, but here's a solution to that as well. Love this place value organizer. Can't tell you how much. It's so great to store all your blocks in. This has been one of my favourite things that we've done this year in terms of organisation, aside from the work boxes. I have loved from the day we got it is our whiteboard. We use this every day. I use it for language arts, use it for maths. My daughter likes to draw in it when we're doing lessons. I cannot say how much I love having a whiteboard, and yes, they can be expensive, especially if you want magnetic ones. Look around for sales and everything else, but it's been such great value for money. I would definitely consider getting one if you think it would be useful for you. I don't particularly like, and I'm thinking about what I want to do with that for next year, because I'm not overly fond of this, is the storage system for our previous year's work. I've been using these plastic boxes, and I need to think of something better, because they're fine to put the stuff in, but I need to find somewhere else to put them. As you can see, I'm almost to the ceiling now. So we've got kindergarten, preschool on there, first grade, it's going to be second grade. So I definitely need to think about something else about where to put them. And that's everything. So let me know some things you have really enjoyed organisation wise this year, and some things not so much. I'd love to hear, and if you've got any ideas, especially for curriculum storage, but I think the only thing that's going to solve that problem is moving house, because there's just nowhere to put stuff. But yes, I'll see you in our next video. Take care, bye for now.